We're going to continue our conversation with the four candidates for Ohio Attorney General with a topic from John Bertosa, the city editor of the News Herald. John.
For months now, the sluggish economy has been dominating the headlines, specifically how more and more people are getting in trouble financially. What can the Attorney General's office do if you are elected or re-elected to help these people? Mr. Owens, we'll start with you.
Thank you, John. It's a great question, and we get this a lot on the campaign trail. You know, we are in a miserable economy. We see that in fundraising from a political standpoint as well when we go out to ask for money for contributions and investment to our campaign. I'll tell you, the best thing that we can do from the Attorney General's office is cut down on bureaucracy in the state and allow small businesses to thrive. What we have seen, and one of the reasons why I've been involved in this campaign from the get-go, is that the bureaucracy of government, and I call it the ABCs of government, the agencies, boards, and commissions, are out of control in Ohio. Now, the Attorney General's office has a very direct role in this concept because they sit as counsel on all these agencies, boards, and commissions. Now, I've sat on panels with Mr. Cordray in the past who said that he would enforce laws, whether they were constitutional or not, because they were laws. I think that's nonsense. It's a wrong way to look at it. We, as Attorney General, has to enforce the Constitution first and foremost. And that means that if agencies, boards, and commissions are getting out of hand, we have to rein them in. Now, as a very direct impact, what we have seen in Mr. Cordray's administration, again, is ably reported by your brethren in Cleveland. He has expanded the size and scope of his office. He has added staff, he has added salary, and he has expanded the size of government because that's what liberal Democrats do. They expand the size and scope of government. Now, the contrast to that from a Republican standpoint is that Mr. DeWine, as senator, was very involved in the Darby Creek land grabs, was very involved in the CARA bill, which would have created an enormous new administrative agency, a $3 billion slush fund, and would have given additional monies away internationally. Well, we don't need more bureaucracy. What we need is less. What we need is to let businesses go out and produce. That is the engine that has always driven the American economy, and that's what we need to get back to. That's what I'll do as Attorney General.
In terms of the economy, which is, I think, uppermost on everybody's minds, as Attorney General, I have tried to implement a number of policies that I think help. First of all, we have an early warning requirement now. Nobody gets sued in the state of Ohio without a chance to come in, ameliorate the situation, and see if it can be resolved without litigation. Second, we have opened up our consumer helpline to assist small businesses who have problems in the marketplace. They get cheated out of a few $1,000s on the phone system, or a product that's not delivered, or a charge that they did not authorize. Third, in some of the larger matters like the General Motors and Chrysler bankruptcies, we took a very active and aggressive role for the state of Ohio, standing up for workers, retirees, dealers, consumers, and our plants in the state of Ohio. And both General Motors and Chrysler are coming out of that in improved shape, but we defended the interests of Ohioans. And on the Wall Street corruption, we are standing up for our pension systems and workers, investors, and retirees in this state to make sure they get a fair shake there. I have to go back for a moment to Mr. DeWine, former Senator DeWine's allegations about corruption. Number one, we have prosecuted and investigated public corruption in the state of Ohio, both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, sheriffs, police chiefs, some of the most difficult cases in the state. So to say that we have not pursued that is just an incorrect statement. As for the Cuyahoga County matter, we are deeply involved in investigation there along with the federal authorities. It would not have made sense for us to grandstand in on top of the federal authorities, but it did not take 14 months. The very day that we were asked to come in by the governor and the Cuyahoga County prosecutor, which is what gave us the authority to come in, and the sheriff there, we were in, and we've been in working on that case since. And finally, in terms of what we do to stand up for law enforcement in the state of Ohio, I'll go back to saying the law enforcement groups that have looked at this race are endorsing Rich Cordray for Attorney General because of the strong record we have of working with them to root out crime in this state.
Dr. Feldman?
Well, I think the Attorney General's office has to set an example for the rest of the government as to being the legal advice for the committees. I was very concerned that in the past year when the state government was able to decrease its payroll by 1%, the Office of the Attorney General's payroll budget went up by 9.6% in an economy where not many people are seeing a 9.6% raise. We need to improve our economy by keeping our resources and developing resources in Ohio. I got concerned when I read that the outside counsel from New York of Labaton Sutra was being used for the $725 million settlement. It was even more concerning to me when I saw that the 5 partners of Labaton Sutro, Mr. Labaton, Mr. Prass, Mr. Dupes, and Mr. Bernstein had each donated $20,000 to the Ohio Democratic Party State Campaign Fund from New York to Columbus. I'm not saying that that's illegal. I'm saying that it stinks, and that we as a group of voters are responsible because we are the ones who are maintaining this pay-for-play system, and it should stop. When we turn that around, when we make the Attorney General's office not the head of law enforcement, but the head of development of a law-abiding citizenry and communities to make Ohio a better place to live, to work, and to do business. This will improve our economy and get our inner city kids into jobs instead of jail.
Right.
People in Ohio are hurting. I don't have to tell anybody who's watching this today. As Attorney General, I will be very, very aggressive in regard to consumer fraud, and we will go against bad people who are trying to hurt good people. The state Attorney General, though, current Attorney General, the incumbent, has been part of an administration with Ted Strickland that's seen the loss of over 400,000 jobs in this state. Part of the problem is there's an anti-business climate coming out of Columbus. When I'm Attorney General, I will rein in the bureaucrats. Our first choice will not be automatically to sue. Our choice will be to try to work with small business to deal with the problem. If there's bad people doing bad things, we're going to go after them. I never had a problem as a prosecuting attorney doing that, I will tell you. But most business people, we need to work with them, solve the problem, and keep the jobs in the state of Ohio. Obama Healthcare, which the current Attorney General refuses to file with 20 other Attorney Generals who challenged the constitutionality of Obama Healthcare. I will, on my first day in office, I have pledged this, join that lawsuit, because this is a question of jobs in the state of Ohio. This bill is a job killer, and the Attorney General has the obligation to become involved. One last thing in regard to Mr. Cordray's comment about he got involved in the Cuyahoga County investigation as soon as he could. It was 14 months since the first article appeared in the paper. And no, we don't want anybody to be grandstanding, but would not have been grandstanding for the incumbent Attorney General to pick up the phone and call the governor, who he's very, very close with, and say, Governor, send me the form letter over here. Send me that letter that you have to send so I can become involved in this investigation. And yet for 14 long months, they never did that. You'll also notice that the incumbent Attorney General did not respond in any way to my allegation about Mark Dan. He had the opportunity, again, to call out Mark Dan. I think you need an Attorney General who looks at this job and says, I'm going to do what I have to do, I'm going to do what's right, and I'm above politics. I'm going to call it like I see it, whether it's a political ally or whoever it is. And that's what I intend to do. That's what this former prosecutor, I'll guarantee you, will do while I'm Attorney General.
Okay.
These days, learning never ends, and college really matters. So more people than ever are going to Lakeland Community College. People of every age are trying to learn something new, and Lakeland is for everyone. High school graduates just starting out, people trying to get good jobs, or just trying to improve themselves. At Lakeland, it's never too late to learn. It's our college. In Lake County, opportunity starts here at Lakeland.